All right, guys, we are back in Trinidad, and that means that I am buying the boat. But to make that happen, I had to run over here to the mall to sign some paperwork, have them printed out, sign it, scan it, and then I can email it back to the attorney, to the insurance companies, to all of the process to get this boat purchase. There's a whole lot going on, and I'll explain that all to you guys in a little bit. But right now, I'm gonna go inside the mall and get this paperwork handled so we can be the owners of this new boat. What a huge day. All right, well, that was a success. We got all the paperwork stuff handled. And now, since we're over here, we're gonna head over to the market, grab some food and some other stuff that we need for the boat because, well, now that we're here, we're gonna be living on the boat. So time to get some supplies. Well, shopping trip was a success. We got a basket full of food, and now we're waiting for the basically the Uber of Trinidad, the TT rideshare, to come pick us up. Oh, stop. They're not here for us. All right, guys, well, we have been reading the comments, and I know a lot of you guys want to see the tour of the inside of the boat. Well, that's going to be in the next video, and the reason that we're not doing it right now is because the previous owner, who still actually owns the boat because it has not gotten completely transferred over yet, is still living on the boat. So he has the entire owner side at the moment, and we want to be able to give you guys the full tour once we have all of our stuff moved in and all that. All right, the next question you guys have been asking a lot of is, why did we get a catamaran and not a monohull, and why did we choose this catamaran? So we chose a catamaran over a monohull because of the amount of space that you have with a cat. So we've got a 46-foot Leopard catamaran, and to have a similar amount of space, you'd probably need a 70-foot plus monohull, which means you're gonna have a very deep draft. Monohulls have a keel that's basically a lead weight on a fin that offsets the mast and the sail pressure. It also helps the boat move forward. Well, with that deep draft, you can't go into a lot of the anchorages that we want to go to. And a lot of these places have beautiful beaches with very shallow waters, and in a catamaran, we can pull up right next to the beach. With a monohull, we might be pretty far out of the anchorage, and we might be in some rougher water and not having the best time. So we also felt like the catamaran was a safer option for us, which might be kind of controversial because people say that monohulls are the safest boat. And that is because a monohull, when really stressed, when there's a lot of wind, you have full sails, it will kind of tip over and spill the wind off of it. So you have this large amount of heeling that you can have in a monohull without anything happening to it. In a catamaran, you do have to be more aware of your sail area and how much sail you have out. So you have to really be prepared for whatever the conditions are and really stay on top of things. But we felt like it was a safer option for us because we have two daughters and they're gonna be on the boat with us. Moving around on the deck of a monohull, it's pretty tight. There's not a lot of space. Where with a catamaran, we have the huge front area with the nets and the back, the cockpit area with all of the seating. So there's a lot of space for them to be able to be out and about and move around safely without having us worrying about them falling off the side of the boat. So there's obviously a ton of things that you can compare on different types of boats, and I don't think any boat is the perfect boat. Everything's a compromise, and when you're comparing a monohull to a catamaran, everybody has different ideas of what they want. Also, there are a lot of people who have sailed both monohulls and catamarans and have owned both in different models, and they've done reviews on why they like one over the other. So I'm not going to get into that because I don't have a lot of experience there. We've always had multi-hulls. We went from trimaran to a catamaran, so I have very little monohull experience. My monohull experience has been I've been on a couple, and I've sailed some lasers and some small little sailboats, which don't even really count. So why did we choose this catamaran, the Leopard 46? Well, we looked at a ton of boats, and one of the biggest factors for us was budget, because we don't have unlimited budget. The second biggest factor was sailability, because we want to sail the boat places. There are a lot of boats from manufacturers like Lagoon and Leopard and Fountain Peugeot, and they have very nice boats that are awesome for when you're anchored and sitting in a lagoon, but the sailability on those boats are not great. They have big wide holes that don't cut through the water very well, but it gives you a lot of living space. This Leopard 46 is probably the best Leopard that Leopard ever produced. It is a great boat. It sails well, but it also has really good living spaces. And the owner's version just seemed like the right boat for us. We've got a lot of storage. We obviously have a lot of room. The girls each have their own rooms, and this was what we felt like was the best compromise we could make, and this was the best boat in our budget that met all of our needs. So there are other boats that we were looking at that I really do like, but they were either just too small of a living space or too expensive, and they were out of our budget. And those boats were Katanas. The Katana 471 is a great boat, and it's the same length as this boat, but it has quite a bit smaller of a living space. The Katana 521, very nice, but that's a 52 foot boat, and that boat is actually a smaller living space. There's also the Ultramars and a few other brands that they have absolutely amazing boats. They sail really well, they're very nice. And then we get into gunboats and all these other boats. They are awesome, but just way, way out of our price range. All right guys, now it's time to get down to the money. How much did all of this cost us? Well, we'll start with the biggest expense, which was this boat. This boat was listed for $430,000, but we were able to negotiate down to $390,000. That's what we ended up paying for this boat. We were able to get the seller to drop the price quite a bit because he wasn't using a broker. He was selling it as a private party. We're buying it as a private party, which helped. The negotiation, everything went very smooth, but it added a lot of complication because there were no brokers involved. We didn't have a broker, he didn't have a broker, which meant that I had to hire a maritime attorney to help us with all the paperwork because we've never bought anything like this before, and it is not an easy process. There are so many things that need to be in place to get this done. The previous owner has the boat flagged in a different country. We are going to flag this boat in the US. So there's all these things that have to happen, and all this has to work together. So we had to pay an attorney to make this work, which I'll get into that expense in a little bit. But $390,000 for the boat. The next biggest expense was insurance. Every year we're going to need insurance on the boat, and that price is going to fluctuate depending on where we are and where we're sailing. Could go up. I'm hoping it's going to go down after we have some more experience under our belts. Insurance for us was $7,000 for the year, and that's something that we had to pay for right away. Also, the boat we had to pay for right away. We weren't able to get a loan on the boat. Ashley and I both have very good credit, but we've never purchased anything large. We've never owned our own home, which means that no one wanted to loan us $200,000, $300,000. So that's why I had to sell a bunch of my equipment and race cars to be able to afford to buy this boat. We spent almost all of our life savings on to purchase the boat. The next biggest expense was registering the vessel, and that is going to cost us $6,000, which is 1.5% of the cost of the boat. We're registering it with the US Coast Guard. That made the most sense for us, and speaking with our maritime attorney, there are a lot of different options, but being that we are US citizens, it made the most sense. It was also the least expensive way to go on a boat that was this size and of this value. If we had bought a multi-million-dollar boat, it might have actually been cheaper percentage-wise to register it somewhere else, like the BVI or somewhere else. But I'm not going to get into that because that's an area that I know nothing about. That's why we hired an attorney to take care of that for us, which is another expense that I'll get into in a little bit because that's an ongoing cost. That has not been finalized. So we do have other assets back home in California. We have our current sailboat, and we're going to be selling that. So once we do, we'll be able to get those funds and put that back into our bank account. Also, I still have more equipment and more stuff, and I know you guys have been asking a lot about this. Where is my AMG? Well, I'll get into that. I do still own it, and yes, I will sell that car eventually, but I'll get into that in the next video. Moving on, the next biggest expense was the travel cost to come and see the boat and the travel cost coming down here again. The first time, it was just Ashley and I that came down here. Flights were $2,000 for both of us, plus hotel plus food. Altogether, that was about $3,000. This time coming down here, we brought our daughters with us, so it was $4,000 for the flights. And luckily, we didn't have any extra expenses of a hotel because when we arrived, Michael, who owns the boat, who is still the owner. We will own it very soon, I hope, once all this paperwork goes through. But he graciously welcomed us aboard, and for the last 7 days, we have been living aboard with him, and that has really been great because we've been able to learn all of these systems on the boat. He's really gone into detail with me with everything and how everything works, which I'll talk about later, but that has been a huge help because there is so much going on a boat like this. It is extremely complex. There's plumbing and hoses and wiring and systems just everywhere. Overall, our travel costs to come see the boat and then to purchase the boat, so that was a total of $7,000 in travel fees to come to Trinidad, to see the boat, fly back, and then come down here with our daughters to take delivery. So that brings the grand total to $410,000 to this point. We've still got attorney's fees and our CPA fees, which are ongoing. I'm not sure how much all of that's going to cost us, but it's going to be easily another $10,000. All right, guys, it's official. All the paperwork has been signed and the wire transfer has been sent. That means that we now own this Leopard 46 catamaran. This is a very special moment, and we're so excited, but also it's surreal right now. You know, this is something that we've been planning for at least 5 years. A lot of planning, a lot of thought, a lot of effort has gone into this moment right now. I mean, we couldn't be more excited. We're in an absolutely beautiful place, starting something completely new, a new chapter of our lives together. It's time to open a bottle of champagne and celebrate.
But first, I just have to say thank you.
Thank you.
For all the hard work that you put in, like year in, year out, for 5+ years.
Just to get to this point, to try to make this happen. It's been a wild ride. Over the years in Formula Drift, with the shop, with everything, and Ashley's been with me since my first day of Formula Drift. So that was a long time ago. Before we had kids, and before things just continually change, and it's all changed for the good. And this is just the evolution of that. This is the next step, and now we're going to travel the world, sail around, and I am super excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
All right, instead of spraying the champagne all over a couple other people on the podium, it's gonna be a little different. We're gonna drink it and we're gonna pour it on the boat because this is our boat now. Cheers. Tastes even better when you're on a boat. Here come the girls. How you doing?
Good.
Are you guys having fun on the boat?
Yes.
Yeah. It's really cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely something new and something very exciting. Yeah. Well, now that we own the boat, it's time to make it feel more like home. And it's Christmas time, but we're in the tropics. It's 90 degrees outside, and it doesn't really feel like Christmas. So I ran to the store and I grabbed some Christmas decorations so we can make it feel more like home. I'm back.
Hey, bye. What did you get?
I got
Christmas stuff?
Yes, I got Christmas decorations.
Woo-hoo! Cute.
All right.
Oh, look at the angel.
So you girls can decorate the boat and make it feel more like home.
That's so cool.
All right, ready, set, go.
Do you like it?
I love it. It is starting to feel like home, and it's looking like Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will see you again next time.